Years after 9/11, the United States is still at war with a relentless enemy.
We kill civilian infidels in exchange for those of our children that they kill.
Osama bin Laden continues to possess the power to sow death and destruction.
We will not stop this fight. We are at war, and I am a soldier.
Al-Qaeda, once a small group in Afghanistan, is now a worldwide movement.
You haven't experienced life.
Anybody who has a score to settle with the Western power, that is Al-Qaeda.
Former intelligence officers reveal how Al-Qaeda uses the media to recruit new followers. Al-Qaeda's insiders show how this terror cult gained a foothold in Iraq, Europe, and Saudi Arabia. And now, Al-Qaeda hopes to strike again in the United States.
When we bomb their cities and civilians like they bomb ours, or destroy their infrastructure and means of transportation like they destroy ours, or kidnap their non-combatants like they kidnap ours, no sane Muslim should shed tears for them.
Is this American the new face of Al-Qaeda? Adam Gaddan has been transformed from a rock-loving Southern California teenager to a high-level terrorist spokesman. Gaddan converted to Islam at 17 and left the U.S. for Pakistan in 1998. Today, he repeatedly threatens the lives of his fellow Americans in Al-Qaeda-produced videotapes. Now known as Azam the American, Adam Gaddan might best represent Al-Qaeda's post-9/11 transformation from a terrorist army based in Afghanistan to something potentially more dangerous. A worldwide movement attracting disaffected Muslims in Europe, Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, and even from Orange County in Southern California. Since 9/11, the American military has weakened Al-Qaeda's leadership and removed many of its sanctuaries, but Al-Qaeda has adapted. By 2006, Al-Qaeda isn't a physical entity so much as an idea that connects hundreds of independent terrorist groups around the globe. The next major attack against the U.S. might be carried out not by Arabs like 9/11 mastermind Mohammed Atta, but by European or American Islamic converts like the shoe bomber Richard Reed, Adam Gaddan, or the American Taliban John Walker Lind.
Militants in Pakistan and Afghanistan will point to Lind and say, there's proof that our way is a global movement that will, in the end, overtake everything. If we can win the heart of an American in San Francisco, then we can take the world.
Al-Qaeda recruits homegrown extremists who can plan and carry out deadly attacks without orders from a central command. Bin Laden is happy to be more of a figurehead than a military leader.
He himself told me, he said, look, it's not my job to organize attacks. My job is to create awareness, to motivate the Muslims, to tell them about the real enemy. And he said the real enemy is America.
Here in Quetta, Pakistan, Maulana Nawar Muhammad is the leader of the Jamiat Ulema Islam, or JUI, one of the country's largest and most powerful Islamic parties. It is typical of dozens of similar groups around the world who support Al-Qaeda. Muhammad is a friend of bin Laden's and has met with him frequently.
More than 30 times. I think he's a fine and strong holy warrior. He cares about the Arabs and others. He has devoted all his wealth to his cause.
Groups like the JUI work to exact change on the local level. Meanwhile, bin Laden has set Al-Qaeda's sights on the U.S.
Thank you all. Please be seated.
The battle has moved to inside America. We will work to continue this battle, God permitting, until victory or until we meet God.
Since 9/11, Al-Qaeda has communicated with the West primarily through audio and video tapes. These clips provide rare clues into bin Laden's motivations and future plans. U.S. intelligence agents carefully scrutinize every aspect of each Al-Qaeda message. The Al-Qaeda figures in these videos are so elusive, they might as well be ghosts. Some literally talk to us from beyond the grave. Others speak from so deep in hiding that the world's most powerful armed forces can't touch them.
Do you know where I am? I am among the Muslim masses, and I am enjoying the grace Allah has bestowed upon me. I am enjoying their support, generosity, protection, and their participation in the jihad against you, until we defeat you, Allah willing.
Why hasn't the U.S. been attacked since 9/11? Some believe Al-Qaeda is unable. Others believe that they are just biding their time. But bin Laden has increasingly begun to measure his victories less in terms of body counts and more in dollars and cents.
Bin Laden's theory of the war that he's fighting now is that the United States economy and society is just as fragile as the Soviet Union's was during the 1980s, and that the way to expose this fundamental weakness is to draw it into a prolonged, financially draining, demoralizing conflict.
There will be a struggle against them in Afghanistan and Iraq, and its economy will fail like the Russians.
As of 2006, the war on terror has cost the United States an estimated $507 billion. America hasn't been attacked since 9/11, but one national intelligence report concludes that U.S. policies have led to more of the world's Muslims becoming radicalized. Many admire bin Laden for giving a voice to a set of broadly held grievances.
Basic political disputes which are leading to alienation, hopelessness, anger in the Muslim world.
America's support for Israel is hugely unpopular in the Islamic world, as is the U.S. war in Iraq. Sadiq Malki studies issues affecting the Middle East.
The United States must mend its policies in the area. It's creating an enemy out of 1 billion people, and that's very unfair from the perspective of the American public, to place Americans and the American interest in such danger.
We have been fighting you because we are free men who do not remain silent in the face of injustice. We want to restore our nation's freedom. Just as you violate our security, we violate yours.
Bin Laden is offended by the very presence of U.S. troops in the Middle East.
Osama has a map of the Middle East, and he shows it to whoever visits him, the areas where the American forces are staying.
Many in the Islamic world believe the U.S. isn't fighting a war on terror, but a war against their religion.
Battle is going on against Islam from the Western countries, unfortunately, and it is visible. We cannot hide it.
Crusade war is meant to destroy Islam. Christians have fought 11 wars with Muslims, and they were defeated in every war. Bush has announced the 12th war, the war on terror.
The terrorists are traitors to their own faith.
In this perceived clash of civilizations, bin Laden justifies Al-Qaeda's killing of innocents as simple retaliation.
We kill civilian infidels in exchange for those of our children that they killed.
He actually believes that this war has been forecasted by the Quran and that it is a test of Muslims, a test to demonstrate for God who is truly faithful.
Most of the world's Muslims do not share bin Laden's taste for violence. Saudi Arabia is home to some of Islam's most sacred sites. Here, prominent scholars like Sadiq Malki share many of bin Laden's complaints against the U.S., but they are repulsed by Al-Qaeda's actions.
This is where Osama bin Laden have totally made a big mistake. Based on the Quran, I cannot for no reason justify the killing of civilians.
But bin Laden makes little distinction between soldiers and civilians. He believes all Westerners should be held accountable for the actions taken by their governments. In 2002, During the run-up to the U.S. invasion of Iraq, bin Laden issues a chilling warning to every nation supporting the American-led military campaign.
Just as you kill, so you shall be killed.
The West is about to get its first taste of the new, decentralized Al-Qaeda. Here in Madrid, Spain, a small group of men who've never met bin Laden are inspired by his words to act against their country's support of the Iraq War. These 13 westernized Muslims represent Al-Qaeda's future, a homegrown cell with no connection to Osama bin Laden, but a violent passion to act in his name. 7 a.m. The men quietly step onto commuter trains at the Alcalá de Henares station, just east of Madrid. They leave 13 backpacks on 4 different trains, and then quickly get off just before the trains pull away. About 40 minutes later, Jesus Ramirez, Victor Munayan, and thousands of others are beginning their morning commute.
The train was awfully full, so I went up and noticed that on the right there was an empty seat. As I was going towards it, I heard the first explosion of the bomb.
The lights went out and you couldn't see anything. And then I saw everyone starting to rush out. After I got out of the car, I took about 3 to 4 steps when I saw a bright red light. The second explosion.
In 3 minutes, during the height of rush hour, 10 explosive devices have been detonated in Madrid's rail system. Exactly 2.5 years to the day since the attacks of 9/11, Spain has suffered one of the deadliest terror attacks in European history. 191 people are dead, and at least 1,800 injured. Spanish authorities released the transcript of a seized videotape. These are the words of the self-described military spokesman for Al-Qaeda in Europe.
We declare our responsibility for what happened in Madrid exactly 2.5 years after the attacks on New York and Washington. It is a response to your collaboration with the criminals, Bush and his allies. This is a response to the crimes that you have caused in the world, and specifically in Iraq and Afghanistan, and there will be more if God wills it.
The attack apparently has achieved its intended effect. 3 days after the bombings, Spanish citizens vote to replace the incumbent government that was supporting the U.S. war in Iraq. The attacks are the election's decisive factor. Experts believe that bin Laden didn't plan the Madrid attacks. He only inspired them. This is the new Al-Qaeda, a decentralized movement with no physical base.
Osama has told you repeatedly, your security is dependent on our security.
Osama bin Laden will continue to inspire new would-be terrorists, even as a U.S. manhunt threatens to uncover his hiding places.